and shot-making ability has often sent opponents away with little to show for their efforts. His most formidable foe, second-ranked Cliff Swain, whose all-around athleticism helped make him the champion of the IRA Pro Tour an amazing 5 times, lost his throne to Monchik after losing to him in the 1998 U.S. Open. In this year's Open, the stage seemed to be set for the two to make their 3rd consecutive meeting in the finals, and for Swain to have a chance to exact his revenge. But Jason Menino, the IRT's 4th-ranked player, who's been quickly moving his way up the professional ranks in the last few years, has a different version of the finals in mind. Upsetting Sudsy Monchik in the semifinals and taking his place across from Cliff Swain in the finals. The 1999 Promise Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championships. Brought to you by Embassy Suites, a design for living. By DoubleTree, sweet dreams. And by the United States Racquetball Association, your connection to the greatest game on earth. Well, welcome to the Racket Club in Memphis, Tennessee for the finals of the 99 Promise Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championships, where for the last 2 years it's been number 1 Sudsy Monchik and number 2 Cliff Swain, duking it out for the number 1 ranking. This year, however, number 4 Jason Menino has interrupted what would have been a 3rd meeting with his stunning upset of Sudsy Monchik in the semifinals. Don't go away. We got some exciting racquetball action in store when we return.
Hey guys, what's up? Play some racquetball?
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Like that? Hey,
I think
watch
we're
out,
singles,
Swain.
doubles.
No, we're all set. If you're gonna go play, why don't you try a racquetball racket?
And how about a whole new ensemble?
This feels pretty good.
Nice socks.
I'll give it a try.
It's a good look.
Good luck. Did you see that shirt? Needs more than luck. He needs some serious help.
I think he's beyond help.
This is new technology.
That belongs in the archives.
This isn't light. Feel that.
Could you maintain ranking with this?
I'm not sure.
It's brown.
Get all the excitement of the U.S. Open delivered right to your door with Racquetball Magazine. Read about top competitions in the country and the world. Get inside information from the top teaching pros. Every issue is packed with instructional features to help improve your game. Find out who shares your passion for the sport. From top touring professionals to newcomers in the amateur ranks, you'll read all about the sport's most colorful personalities. Subscribe today and get a free can of balls with your paid subscription to Racquetball Magazine. Send check or money order for $19.95 to Racquetball Magazine, 1685 West Uinta, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80904.
Welcome back. It's U.S. Open Racquetball Championship action from here in Memphis, Tennessee, and we're lucky enough to be joined again this year by Aaron Katz, one of the legends of the game. And Aaron, up for this big match from Houston. Maybe you did your homework for some different personnel. You might have thought there might have been a couple of different finalists.
I thought it was going to be Sudsy and Cliff like we've seen all year, but I'm expecting a great match. Jason looks great. He's lost a lot of weight. He's revitalized. It should be a tremendous match.
Jason had a barn burner with Sudsy Monchik. Jason prevailed, but first we're going to look at semifinal action. Cliff Swain, a little bit of an easier time with John Ellis. Let's take a look. Cliff Swain met number 3 John Ellis in the first men's semifinal of the evening, with Swain coming out with the same energy that's helped him spend so many years atop the pro rankings. John Ellis, who has consistently challenged Swain and Monchik for the top spot, used his power and kill shot ability to put the pressure on Swain in the first game. But it wasn't enough to overcome Swain at the top of his game. Cliff was dominating in the second game, bringing his whole repertoire to the table. His powerful deep kill shots ended volleys. Famous drive serve forced Ellis into too many errors.
Good ball. Game.
In the third game, John Ellis showed flashes of why he's always a serious contender for the championship of any tour stop. Unleashing a powerful stroke to force Swain into tough dives and defensive shots. But many of Cliff's tough dives were turning into offense and points. Appropriately, Swain's trademark drive serve won the third game for the match. The second semifinal featured an intense match between two players known for their amazing acrobatics and athleticism. The great volleys between number 1 Sudsy Monchik and number 4 Jason Menino would be the theme of the contest. Close games between Monchik and Menino are nothing new, but close games between the two in the semis of the U.S. Open is new. Menino kept the first game close by frustrating Monchik with some amazing gets, capitalizing off of Monchik's mistakes. Another amazing volley would finish the first game. In the second game, Monchik got some of his confidence back and made some amazing gets himself to pull the match even at 1-1. Monchik's renewed confidence did not faze Menino in the third game, however, as Jason put Monchik back on his heels again. Found himself in the zone. He would finish game 3 with a miraculous get. Game 4 would be more of the same for Menino as he frustrated Monchik with more incredible gets and finished points with great shots. Jason won the final game big to make his first U.S. Open Finals appearance. Some surprising semifinal action. What do we got to look forward to in this final? It's going to be something different.
It should be a great match. Jason's been telling us for 6 years that he's going to be number 1. He took out Sudsy last night, and today's his chance to prove it, playing against Cliff.
Up against Mr. Steady, Cliff Swain. Can Cliff prevail?
He's certainly a very heavy favorite. I don't remember the last time a player has beat Sudsy and Cliff in the same tournament, so Cliff is a very heavy favorite, but after yesterday's performance, Jason certainly has a chance.
Could have a whale of a match coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, you want to know what serves the pros are going to hit today? I'm going to show you. They're going to hit drive serves and they're going to hit lob serves. You're going to see a drive serve, which is a power serve, a low serve. I'm going to hit the first one to the right. Drive serve to the right. Here we go. The next one they're going to hit is another drive serve, but it's going to go to the left side. Power serve. And when they need to slow up the pace a little bit, they're going to throw a lob serve in. Very effective. You want your opponent to make a mistake. You want them to swing hard at this and overplay it. Lob serve to the right. You're going to see a lob serve to the left. Again, the idea behind this is to show your opponent all the different serves, be creative, and force them to make bad decisions.
Welcome back. We're just ready to go with this final match from the U.S. Open Racquetball Championships in Memphis, Tennessee. One more look at our players before we get started here. Aaron Katz, run down their weaknesses, their strengths. We'll start with Jason Menino.
Great contrasting styles. Jason's strength is his tremendous getting ability. He relies on putting so much pressure on you with his gets that eventually you're going to make an error and break down mentally. That's his biggest strength. His weakness is he's not going to get on a lot of long runs. He doesn't have a tremendous amount of offensive punch, and sometimes that gets him in trouble against a player like Cliff, who can run a lot of points on you quickly.
Go through Cliff's strengths and weaknesses for us, Aaron.
Cliff, it all begins with the serve. If Cliff is serving well, he's as close to unbeatable as there is in the game. If Cliff has a weakness, if his serve's off, it has a tendency to affect his confidence in the rest of his game. So starting off from a strategy standpoint, we really got to take a look at how well Cliff is serving. In particular, I think his confidence really runs with the serve behind him. If he's serving well to Jason's forehand, that'll open up the Z serve, and then I think it's going to be very difficult for Jason to defend him.
Playing the best of 5 games here, each game to 11, must win by 2. We're ready to go. Finals of the U.S. Open from Memphis.
And we'll see what Cliff starts off with. He's starting a little bit more towards the center, so he may go down the line. There's that down the line serve, flick to the ceiling off the back wall. There's that getting ability, back wall shot again.
Point.
And see, Jason, against Cliff, he's going to have to do something with those gets. Flicking to the ceiling, putting the ball back in play isn't going to be enough, because Cliff will hang back, he'll be patient, and when he gets a shot, he'll just kill it like that. So Jason's going to have to initiate offense, and sometimes that's not the most comfortable posture for him to be in.
A 1-0 lead for Cliff Swain here in the first game.
Another setup off the back wall.
Point.
Cliff kills it again. Boys looking sharp, Aaron.
That's a great start for Cliff. Nothing fancy, 2 good serves to the backhand. Both of Jason's return came off the back wall, and Cliff got on the offense each time.
2-0 for Cliff Swain in game 1.
I will.
And I think it's to Jason's advantage to do this, to banter with the crowd and, if possible, turn it into a slot match.
Short serve. Side out.
What did you call it, Aaron?
A slot match. The longer the points go, the less crisp the players are, the more it's to Jason's advantage. Jason's a master at winning ugly. If this is a clean match with a lot of good shooting, I make Cliff a very heavy favorite.
Side out.
Jason certainly doesn't want that. Not just because Cliff killed it, never got a chance to get into the rally, work the ball around. Jason wants to get to the 3rd, 4th shot of the rally, and then he's got a much better chance against Cliff.
That's when he feels he can wear a guy down.
Exactly.
2-0. Swain serving.
Good get, but
Great
a plum
get
for Cliff.
Point.
See, Cliff looks to me like he's very composed, and he's thought about the fact that Jason's going to get to a lot of balls. He's going to wait for Jason to do something with those balls before he puts any pressure on himself. He's just letting Jason get to the balls, pop it back up, and then he's taking his time and burying the setup.
3-0 for Cliff Swain, first game.
Side out.
You know, I think Cliff thought the serve was short, and that's why he kind of stopped on the return.
He's a little unprepared, kind of feinted a between the legs shot, but didn't come off. Side out, Menino serving.
Good get, but here's another setup for Cliff. See, Jason's saying he's going to have to kill that all day, but the problem is I think Cliff can kill that all day.
Yeah, which is what Sudsy Monchek was not doing last night.
I think what Jason's going to have to do, he's going to have to figure out a way to get on the offense. He is not going to be able to beat Cliff just by putting balls back in play. He's going to have to do something with the ball.
Short serve.
Short serve and a side out again. Cliff Swain holding steady at 3-0. Finals of the U.S. Open from Memphis. Swain serving again, 3-1.
Good serve, back wall setup. Back wall setup again. Back wall setup again.
Lay hand down. Hold up.
Now, even though that's...
Anybody want to change today's match? I obviously bet that. I might have gotten it on a fly if you get out of the way.
serves 1.
That's right.
Jason Menino saying based on his performance against Monchek, he was killing those last night, should get the avoidable.
Now, there's nobody who's better mentally prepared to deal with this than Cliff, but no matter how mentally tough you are, it is very disturbing to be playing a guy that's breaking the momentum like that, never letting you get in the roll, particularly a guy like Cliff where the serve is such an important part of his game.
And that's a short
And
serve.
you see,
yeah.
that's at least 2 times where Jason has thrown a little bit of a tantrum and Cliff comes back with a short serve.
Something to watch. It's still 3-1.
The court.
Point for Jason Menino, 2 serves 4.
Back wall set up for Cliff. Left it up.
Point.
Once again, Jason killing the ball in the front court. And I think he's more effective killing the ball in the front court with his backhand.
Serves 4.
3-4, now another point for Jason Menino.
And even though it's early in the match time, we're seeing a little microcosm of each of their strengths.
Side out.
That would be Cliff's strength right there.
Yeah, Cliff shooting the ball from the deep court, firing away, getting the first serves in. Jason kind of running around, slopping around, and when he gets an opportunity, putting that ball in the corner.
Side out. 4-3, Swain serving.
Weak return.
Point.
Now that is a good sign from Cliff's standpoint. I really feel, Tommy, a big part of Cliff's game is being able to set up his serves by hitting the serve behind him. When the serve behind him starts getting in, it opens up the serve that I think he really prefers, which is the down the line and the Z.
See what he goes with here, 5-3.
Flick to the ceiling, he'll go on the offense. Flick to the ceiling, he'll go to the offense. Great passing shot.
Good passing shot. Cliff had no chance at that.
He went for it, just died on the back wall. And regardless of how that rally ended, that's the type of rally Jason wants to get into. A lot of diving, a lot of digging, and while Cliff can play that game, it's certainly not his preferential style. He's much would prefer a clean style, serve and shoot, short rallies.
Cliff's still a young man at 33, but there are those who say that when it gets to getting back up 2, 3, 4 times in a rally, starting to lose maybe just a microsecond here and there.
That's off the back wall.
Side out.
Jason is not going to be able to construct a point much better than that. If he thinks he's going to get more opportunities than that, he's mistaken. He had his opportunities as he has several rallies. I think he still might be a little tight, rushing things a little bit, because he certainly had some opportunities to end that rally.
You want to go another one? Let me think about it. No. I'm with you. Maybe go ride the bike for a few minutes. A couple hours maybe just to cool down. I'm thinking if you need to play another one, we can do one more. Hey man. Who's that? No idea. Thought you might have known. He looks good though. Courtesy Sports from head to toe. Wait a second. Oh my God. Nah, it's not a chance. You know who that is? It can't be. That's the hack from last week. This has to be a joke. He took our advice, obviously, but I'm pretty sure that shirt's not in the catalog.
Cliff is not looking loose now. He's not gunning at the ball. His strokes look a little tentative, and that's partly due to the pressure of the U.S. Open final, and definitely part and due to his opponent, who's doing everything he can, breaking out the kitchen sink, so to speak.
6-5 now, Swain with the serve. With Swain ranked number 2 in the world, this could go a long way to getting back on top with a win at the U.S. Open here.
Down. Point.
Once again, plenty of opportunities for both players.
7-5 Swain now. Are these guys going to loosen up? Aaron,
I think they're certainly going to loosen up. If not in this game, after this game, they'll start to loosen up a little bit. But right now, they're clearly tight. They've both missed some opportunities that I don't think they're accustomed to missing.
No advantage yet. No discernible advantage.
Dead even. I think Jason likes the way the match is going because Cliff has not gotten on any rolls, any strings of points. It's
just over the line there, huh?
And
There is a football rule, right?
I'm watching every
I'm trying to
time.
make sure that there's actually a rule.
that's certainly Jason's biggest
There should be
concern.
a rule if you can't enforce it.
Great
Swain
serve
out.
by Cliff.
8-5. Jason asking to watch the foot fault. Every player asks him to watch the foot fault when they play against Cliff.
Asking him to watch the foot fault's a lot easier than getting a serve back.
Good serve. Side out.
So much for all day. What'd you say?
Five serves 8.
Side out. Menino 5 serving 8.
Certainly still in this game.
Oh,
right
yeah.
in the hunt, down a couple of points.
Good ball. Point.
A little bit of an error there by Cliff.
Thought he'd been all over that one.
8.
Once again, that's a good point for Jason. He had a good serve, forced Cliff to go for a lot of shot from the backcourt from up high, got into the rally, and once they're in the rallies, Jason can play with anybody.
Here we go. 6-8.
6 serves 8. Point.
Jason shooting from the backcourt there.
Yeah. Once again, he got what he wanted out of the serve. Forced Cliff to take a ball from up high in the backcourt. Cliff didn't do very much with it, gave him a backwall opportunity, and that time Jason killed the ball.
7-8 now.
Another opportunity.
Point.
There you go. Tie game. 8-8. Swain and Menino first game. The finals, the U.S. Open Racquetball Championships here in Memphis, Tennessee.
And the last 6 or 7 serves Jason has hit, he's gotten exactly what he wanted. He's got Cliff shooting from the backcourt, giving him a lot of opportunities.
Side out.
Took that one a little high, too, but took care of it.
He hit a great shot. And I think Jason can live with that.
8 serves
Jason,
8.
if he's going to hit that good a shot, that really is
Nothing he
Jason's
can do.
game
Huh?
plan.
Yeah.
It's when Jason's giving him the setups and the weak returns is where Cliff is going to take care of business on those.
8-8.
Side out.
And a side out again. Swain and Menino slugging it out here in game 1.
And Tommy, if Cliff does have a weakness,
Thank you.
he has a tendency to inch forward on the court, open up the passing shot. And I've seen Andy Roberts and some of his rivals throughout the years be successful with that game plan, hitting wide-angle passes against him.
Point.
That was a solid point from Menino right
yeah,
there.
and Cliff looks a little frustrated because that serve he stepped up on and kind of took a half swing at it, and that's Jason's bread and butter. That's a shot he missed a couple of times earlier, but he's not going to miss that shot very often.
9-8. Menino serving. We're playing to 11 here. Must win by 2.
Oh, you're so
Side out.
lucky.
Tight game here in the first.
9. Side out.
And there's that wide angle again. If you notice the big difference between this part of the game where Jason's made his comeback and early on, he's able to get on the offense off a Cliff serve, hitting that wide angle pass where the first few serves
That's
he
a
just
huge
flicked
advantage,
up.
I would think.
Point.
Point for Jason Menino, so he's got a shot at this first game here with this serve.
I don't think Jason could have scripted it much better than how this game has gone if he closes it out here. Here's a setup.
First game, Jason Menino.
All right, Jason Menino with game number 1 here. First in our best 3 out of 5 United States Open Racquetball Championships. Earlier today, the women's final featured a rematch of last year's final. as Jackie Parizzo met up with 14th seed Christy Van Hees. The contest featured tremendous shifts in momentum, but it was Van Hees who started out with a hot hand and took game one 11-8. Game two was a hard-fought battle, with neither player able to pull away until Parizzo, needing to win by 2, put 2 consecutive points together to finish the game. With Parizzo winning game 3 11-1, it seemed as though she might be dashing any hopes of an upset. But the momentum shifted to Van Hees, who seemed to frustrate Parizzo and put it all together to dominate game 4 for an 11-5 win. Parizzo came back with too much pressure in Game 5, however, never letting Van Hees get on track and taking the final game 11-2. Jason Menino takes game 1. Aaron, if you could ask Cliff a question right now, what would it be?
I'd ask him, what's he going to do about that serve that Jason's hitting?
Well, Todd O'Neill is backstage right now. We'll ask him to ask Cliff that.
Cliff, it looked like that lob serve gave a little trouble in that game. How do you plan to return it in this second game?
I just made a stupid shot on the serve return for shot selection. A little too aggressive too. I don't always have to try and roll it. A little more ceiling balls, get it in the back, get to the middle.
You had about 5 or 6 short serves in that game. Gonna try to get back to the old serve and shoot style of play?
Definitely. I should have pounded the ball a little bit more. I was getting a little, trying to get a little too cute with it.
Pound the ball, pound the lines. Good luck.
Cliff really on a roll here. 9-3.
And he's similar to the women's final. This game is just switching momentum. It looked like Jason was in total control of the match. He ran out the first game, and here Cliff is running 9 straight points.
Oh, it's stop, football, got out.
Jason Menino elated with the football call.
How many is that, like 10?
Who's your serve side?
Side out then, on the foot fault, Menino to serve 3-9.
Nope.
It's a tough shot he just hit. That's a good sign that Cliff may be looking, good sign for Cliff at least, that he might be a bit more relaxed, because that was a very tough shot. Jason got that serve up high where he wants it. Cliff looked very relaxed, composed, and just splattered it into the side wall.
9-3, Swain serving.
Good ball, side out.
Great effort there by Cliff. He dove to the left, took a full swing, just missed it by a hair.
9.
Once again, that Cliff needs to be taking those full swings, going out, gunning away. That's his game.
Point.
And there, Cliff once again went for a very difficult shot. The same one he had just hit. This time he missed it a little. I think Jason mixed up the angle just a bit to get a little higher.
4-9, Menino serving.
That's a good get. That's going to fall tough in the backcourt.
That's a good shot there. Boy, really zing that one in there.
He sure did.
Nine serves 4.
9-4, and Cliff looking to close this thing out here and settle it 1-1.
Point.
Once again, there's that Z serve. And quite frankly, that was the one Jason looked the most comfortable with. He stepped over, took a swing at it, still didn't do that much with it. I'd keep going back to that until Jason proves that he can do something with that serve, because he hasn't yet.
Cliff Swain serving for the second game here.
That's a good serve.
Really good serve. And he gets that second game 1-1 now in this best-of-5 series, the United States Open Racquetball Championships from Memphis. Well, Cliff Swain gaining some service acumen there and a better attitude. Maybe he's got a little more control over this match now.
Much more composure Cliff should show. That was a very thoughtful game on Cliff's part. backed off his initial game plan, which was all firepower, slowed things down, thought about his serve, was a little more patient on the return of serve, and the results really showed.
We're going to see if Todd O'Neill can find out what Jason Menino is going to do about all this.
Hi, Jason. You guys are even at one game apiece. That drive Z to your backhand looks like gave you a little problem there. What do you plan on doing to counter that in the third game?
I plan on hitting a real hard cross court. Trying to catch up to it now. He served me pretty good that game. That's why I won it. I didn't play that bad. I just didn't hit great returns. He had me diving off of his other serves. He served every serve fairly well that game. And, like I said before, if he rolls the ball, he's going to win. He's rolling the ball. Serving good, rolling the ball.
Playing great, and the crowd loves it.
I have no problem losing that match. He's going to have to do it the rest of the day.
Good luck.
A little deep on the ceiling ball. Good angle by Jason. That's a great shot. Once again, great decision by Jason to cut that ball off. That way he's able to strike it up by the 5-foot line rather than being brought into the deep court. And that's a great decision for Jason or for anybody watching at home. It's just high percentage racquetball, hitting the ball at the 5-foot line.
Good ball, point.
10-8 now for Menino, serving for this game.
If you had told me that we'd be here when it was 8-3 Cliff, that we'd be sitting here with Jason serving at 10-8, I would have told you were crazy. That's off the back wall. Good get. Good ceiling ball. Good get.
What a get.
Side out.
And Jason is reiterating his game plan to Cliff
right.
there.
You got to roll him out, he said.
That's right. And
this is an 8-10 game, really tight here. What a get. Oh. Man, oh, man.
Thank you. Side out.
Still 8-10 here. Boy, what a game.
And serves 8.
Jason needs to sneak out of this game now. He doesn't want to let Cliff come back after he's made the comeback all the way from 8-3.
Side out.
That's just an unbelievable shot to hit at 8-10. Wow. Game point. He actually pump faked like he was going to go to the ceiling, got Jason to back up a little bit, and then let it go to the back wall and hit a pinch rollout. Just a tremendous shot.
Gutsy from Cliff Swain there. He's serving now at 8-10.
Let's see if he can capitalize on that here. Great serve.
Good serve.
Great get again by Jason. Set up.
Good ball. Side out.
So once again for the game, here comes Menino.
And Jason loves seeing that.
We used to win the games by like 14-9, 16-11.
Oh, I skipped that one. Gonna let Cliff back in this thing.
Yeah, Jason had an opportunity there. It came off the back wall. He rushed it just a touch. It wasn't an easy shot, but it was an opportunity to end the game, and he didn't take advantage of it. Not a good decision there by Cliff. Jason hit the ball right back down the center, and I don't know if Cliff thought it was coming off the back wall or was just confused by the return, but certainly not the right decision.
Down ball.
Game for Menino there. 2 bounces and Cliff Swain down 1-2 here in the finals of the U.S. Open Racquetball Championships. Game. He's down 2-1 in this best of 5. There's a winner. Rolls it out to the side out.
That's an unbelievable shot. But you know what Jason is thinking now. if you got to hit that to beat me,
You're not going to beat me.
That's right. And I got to agree with him on that. He had a pretty good serve. He got it into the side wall. Cliff picked it clean off the side wall and just hit a splat roll. That being, he hit it right into the side wall, and it rolled out off the front wall. Just an unbelievable shot. It's a great shot. Very nice anticipation there by Cliff. He hit a jam serve, spun Jason around. Ball was out in front of Jason, so Cliff leaned on the cross court. Jason ripped it cross court, and Cliff was right there to mop up the re-kill.
5-5, tightest game we've had so far in this final.
You're welcome.
Cliff just hanging in there, plugging away, waiting for something to start, waiting for that groove to come. See if he can hit a couple of serves here and run this game out.
Long serve.
No. He's still, you can tell he's not very comfortable in that service box. And this is where, if Cliff has had a weakness over the years, and he hasn't had many times when you win 5 national championships, but once his serve isn't working, the rest of his game tends to lose a little confidence. Good get. That's a 2-bounce get.
Yeah. Cliff knows that.
And that, you know, we talked about this exact situation earlier. There, Cliff clearly let the call affect him after the bad call occurred. Earlier in the match time, when he was a bit more focused, we had a very similar situation. Jason got a clearly 2-bounce get, but Cliff stayed focused, ended the rally.
Yeah. 6-6 are all tied up now in the 4th game.
Back wall setup. And, you know, Cliff won that rally, made 2 or 3 uncharacteristic errors again. Jason has a great opportunity. I think he needs to really get focused here and close this game out, because this is as out of sorts as I've seen Cliff in a long time, to Jason's credit. Clearly, Jason is very much responsible for Cliff being a little bit off his game.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
All right.
And this is, I never like seeing a match a road to this where the ref is missing quite a few calls, and you can kind of sense the tension that he's not in control of the match.
Jeez. Everything you do is wrong.
6-6 still in the 4th game here.
I think both players are letting the referee, and there have been some questionable calls, but they seem to both be letting the referee affect their concentration.
There's a side out for
Now, once again, Jason hit a good shot, and I don't think Cliff could have got it. But Cliff didn't go for that ball. Jason left it way off the back wall. Typically, Cliff would spring up from a dive and go for it. And there's Cliff just walking to the center of the court, giving up the passing shot. He's not playing with a lot of energy, Tommy, and I think that's partly that Jason has him so off his game that he doesn't feel like he's got any rhythm. Back wall ball. Set up off the back. Once again, you see
there. He
Cliff,
ties it up.
You see Cliff coming front of the court, almost conceding the passing shot, which Jason will take any day.
8-8 in the 4th game. Menino ahead 2-1. Cliff Swain fighting for his life right now in the finals of the U.S. Open. And another skip.
Tell you,
9 serving 8.
Cliff has had some some odd let-ups in this match. Up 8-3 in the third and up 8-6 here. Gave up 3 straight points.
Jason Menino closing in on the title here, 9-8 in the fourth game. Crowd really into this thing now, trying to get Cliff motivated a little bit here. Well, I tell you.
Back wall ball.
Side out, so Swain will serve, 8-10.
Yeah. And he was here in the fourth game and didn't make any move at all. I think he got to serve a couple of times at 8 in the third game. Got to serve at 8-10 a couple of times. Never made any movement. See if he can change it around here. I think when Jason sees that, he'll realize that he rushed that ball a little bit. Cliff's splat, which is the side wall, front wall shot, actually wrapped around to the third wall. Jason dove for it and tried to get it before the third wall and made an error. That ball, I think, would have come off the side wall. Jason probably could have kept his feet.
Side out, another shot at the title here for Jason Menino.
And that was a very strong-looking stroke. I mean, that was a very confident-looking. Cliff missed the serve into the center, and Jason just flattened out the forehand.
Didn't get it. The match goes to Jason Menino.
That is unbelievable.
That's a call that no one can frankly believe in here.
11-8, 4-11, 11-8, 11-8.
Jason Menino is your U.S. Open champion for 1999 here at the Memphis Racket Club on a questionable call. It's going to stand, though. Menino.
Tommy, I'm frustrated commentating here, and I know the fans are. Great win for Jason.
Yeah, you can't take it away from Jason. Absolutely not. That's something he'll carry with him all his life. What a great thrill for him.
Yeah, it is. And Jason talked about before the match. He said, even if I win today, which I expect to do, the mark of a champion is to be able to do it consistently. We'll see if he can take the confidence that he should get out of this victory, beating the top 2 guys, and carry that on to the next tournament, the rest of the season, and really make the statement to Cliff and Sudsy, I'm here to stay. A lot of significance to this U.S. Open victory for Jason.
Thank you.
1999 Jason Menino, when you got here and you saw the draw, what sort of odds? How did you handicap yourself on being the last guy standing when it's all over?
Well, I actually read something that I was a 9-1 shot, and I really didn't like that. I definitely thought I was better than that. I've told a couple people this. A lot of people don't really know, and they don't pay attention to scores much, but Sudsy's beat me the last 3 times we've played. Every single game he won was by 2 points. So I know I can play with them, and right before I played Sudsy, I really thought I was going to win the tournament. I wanted, to play Cliff because he was the number 2 guy. I'm glad I had to go through 1 and 2 to get there.
Yeah, this match, Aaron, seemed to you to be a little bit uneven, a little bit weird, but Jason took advantage of that.
And that seems to be your game, Jason, and I thought you did a great job against Cliff today, getting him off his game, and the more he got off his game, you seem to get hotter.
Well, that's the whole point of my game style. I can't win if they're playing at the top of their game. I mean, if it's going to shot-making ability, I want them to take the lowest percentage shot they possibly can. That's my entire philosophy on the game. Again, it's no magic out there. I get as many balls as I can, and I think that keeps them off balance. I hit a lot of angles. That keeps them off balance, and all I need is that little opportunity. I mean, I see blood. I go for the kill. There's no quitting me. I don't care if it's 10-0 or 11-10. I'm ready to win.
We asked you what this win would do for you. You said this, even if I win it, is not enough. What I want is that consistency. So you mean by that, I guess, number 1. You're ready to rededicate yourself and achieve that position then.
I felt if I did win this, I did have a chance at one. But again, this still is just a stepping stone for number 1. I got to go out and do the same thing next week. I mean, this is a big tournament. It's double what anything else is. It's the biggest tournament. It's our biggest Grand Slam. It's my dream to win this. I definitely have the biggest cup. The biggest gratification for having that. But yes, it's a big step, big stepping stone, but I still have to maintain that pace for the rest of the season.
All right, biggest tournament of the year, and here's your champ, 1999 U.S. Open Racquetball champion, Jason Menino.
Thanks, Sean.
This is has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more
U.S. Open Racquetball Championships. We're lucky again this year to have Aaron Katz with us, one of the greats in the sport of racquetball, to provide the analysis and insights into the sport. And Aaron, you were always the master strategist. Our two finalists had some kind of unfamiliar strategies to deal with this week, haven't they?
Yeah, they really did, particularly in the semis. They had very similar issues to deal with in that they were playing no-name players. Players both ranked out of the top 10, players who hadn't seen the semifinals of the U.S. Open before, and they both had to avoid that temptation to look past their match to the inevitable confrontation today with each other.
Some exciting, interesting semis. Let's take a quick look. To reach the semifinals, Monchik had to overcome a challenging bid by number 7 seed Rocky Carson, who in the last year has been quickly working his way into the upper echelon of the pro ranks. Meanwhile, a number 10 seed Mike Locker posted a major upset of perennial top 3 player John Ellis, who accepted a rare but nostalgic loss to Locker.
We have a long history. I played him when I was 8, and he was 10 in junior nationals, and he killed me. You know, I've always had that on my mind growing up, and when he started playing racquetball again professionally, you know, I was really hungry to play him, and I got him I think the first 3 times I gave him some good beatings, and you know, he just repaid it this tournament. He's just got a really unique style. He just does things different out there on the court, and you know, it's fun to watch. It's not so fun to play against, like Sudsy was saying yesterday, but you know, he hits these slice serves, a lot of spin serves, a lot while he takes steps while he's serving. You know, takes steps in different directions, and it's really hard to judge where he's going to hit the ball. And you know, and then he puts some slice on it, and it goes about 40, 50 miles an hour, and you're just not used to anything like that. You know, you rarely see serves coming in like that, so consistently getting them in also. So that was tough, and you know, he just rolls balls out too, and it just got me in a mode where I just never felt really confident or comfortable out there, and that's what happened.
Mike Locker endures another of his many tough matches to reach the semifinals. But would his stamina hold out against another heavily favored opponent in Sudsy Monchik? For the answer, we recap the Hilton U.S. Open semifinal between Mike Locker and Sudsy Monchik.
7 serving 3.
Still doesn't feel as though Sudsy's reached the point in this game where he can just sort of top the hill and let it coast on in.
No, he's not on cruise, and I think he's conscious of that, and he's going to keep grinding away.
Short, side out.
First fault of the game.
3 serving 7.
Sudsy, uncharacteristically, I think if there's one difference between him and Cliff, where Cliff still has an advantage, I don't know that he quite has this killer instinct. I just have to believe that if Cliff was up 6-0, he'd be in the locker room by now.
Oh, he'd be feeding on it hard, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's a great get. Another great get, another setup.
Wow.
That's a great rally by Sudsy. I mean, Mike hit a lot of great shots, kept Sudsy on the move, covered Sudsy's down the line forehand there for the first time today. And Sudsy just did a tremendous 3-wall shot.
Sudsy Monchik is up 2-1 in this semifinal match here. Now serving at 7-3.
You know, it's
Mike left that one a little high, didn't he?
Yeah, it's so different watching Mike play from what you're accustomed watching the pros. He just guesses on every shot. I mean, there he guessed on all 3. 2 he guessed right, 1 he guessed wrong, but he's never coming back to center and moving with the ball as almost all the other pros do, and he's been remarkably effective with it. It's just different from what I'm accustomed to seeing.
Sooner or later, the numbers have to catch up with you if you're going to gamble like that, right?
You would think so.
That's how casinos stay in business.
Yeah, that's he's got great anticipation, and you know, he's paid for it a few times, but you know, he's right in his match. Set up off the back wall.
Point Monchik, 9-3.
Serving 3.
Tommy, 11 drive serves this game, 10 to the forehand by Sudsy. you know, not only is it more effective over there, I think what it does is it breaks down Mike a little bit because that backhand pinch is such an important part of his game. He doesn't get a chance to hit it. And now Sudsy looks like he's going to close this out, go home, and start thinking about playing the winner of the Cliff Beltran match tomorrow. And I don't need to tell you who Sudsy thinks he's going to be playing tomorrow in the finals.
Somebody under 6 feet tall. So Sudsy Monchik earns his spot in the finals by beating Mike Locker 3-1. On the other side of the bracket, Cliff Swain reached the semifinals by way of a difficult match with the gutsy veteran and number 8 seed Derek Robinson. He would meet the winner of a battle between two young guns and first-time Hilton U.S. Open quarterfinalists Cain Wasylinchik and Alvaro Beltran. Beltran, a citizen of Mexico, outshot Cain for the right to face the man whose instructional videos he studied as a kid.
When I was like 13, 14, I used to watch Cliff Swain's videos. I guess they didn't work this time. I thought I got a chance yesterday against him, but he played really well. And I think I play well too as well, but he's just got so much experience that that's why he won. He was returning my serves pretty well, so he was kind of reading my serve, so he knew where the ball was going, so it was hard for me to get to the ball after his returns. I felt really good, but like I said before, Cliff was playing awesome, and it's hard to beat him on his game.
Alvaro serving, third game, score 6-9.
And let's see if Alvaro can come up with a new serve here.
Well,
that was the best serve he's hit in a long time.
Little heat to Cliff's backhand.
Yeah, you know, he didn't hit a different serve. He just hit it better. He really hadn't executed a serve in a long time.
And it is 7-9 as Alvaro Beltran serves. Short.
Yeah, and that's a serve that Alvaro abandoned pretty early in the match that I thought he had a little bit of success with. I'm surprised he went away from that serve so early. I thought he started off the match very well with that wide-angle drive serve to Cliff's backhand. Great serve.
Skip ball, side out.
You see Alvaro's starting to get a little involved with the ref now. That first game, there were some tough points, but he never got involved with the ref. On that one, he started motioning to the ref thinking that Cliff's was 2 or 3 bounces.
7-9 for Alvaro Beltran.
Great get.
Couldn't do it twice.
Yeah, that's discouraging. You make a great get. You get kind of a lucky break because the ball drifted way back into the backcourt. Cliff, using great footwork, backed up on the ball and just splat rolled a backhand. Very tough shot.
9-7 Swain. And 7.
And that was not one of the best quality points we've seen. Cliff missed his serve a little bit. Alvaro left up his pinch, and then Cliff made him pay for it with a good shot, but not one of Cliff's better backhand pinches.
Cliff Swain serving to make it into his 4th finals at the United States Open Racquetball Championships. And he does it. Cliff Swain versus Sudsy Monchik for the 2000 Open Championship.
I have to do whatever I have to do to be the greatest of all time. And I know truly deeply inside what I need to do. and I need to, go out and execute my plans and my goals. And, once I get this 5th #1 ranking, that 6th one is going to be, that'll be the best. I mean, then it'll take me above the elite. And I'll now stand where no one else stands. I'll have 6 #1 rankings. But I want to get this 5th one down. I want to lock this in. And I know it's not going to be easy because, I got the greatest player of all time still here banging away with me.
Well, this is the U.S. Open. It's on ESPN. There's millions of people watching. It's for a lot of points, for a lot of money. But more important than that, it's a great opportunity to go out and show what you're capable of. And there's a lot of things on the line here. And knowing all that, I like to just forget about it and then just go out and play one point at a time.
Something I'm learning from someone like Cliff, is that mental toughness and that focus of, play today, play now, and then worry about tomorrow, But yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I was playing Laka thinking about matches tomorrow with Cliff.
My game plan for him is no different than for anyone else. One point at a time, play everyone really hard. If I make a mistake, no big deal, learn from it and move on in 5 seconds. Same goes for if I hit a great shot.
The one thing I admire most about Cliff's game is the fact that he does go out there and he just wants to hurt you. I mean, he just wants to step on you, like you said, step on your neck and not let you come around, where I kind of get a little complacent and lackadaisical, and, maybe I like to give the crowd a show where Cliff doesn't care about putting on a show. He just wants to win.
It's just obvious that we're different. We both get along just fine, and but he's more on his sleeve, more outgoings from New York, and it's obvious.
That's me, I like the bright lights. I like the crowd. I like the cameras. I like you guys. I like everything. I mean, that's me. I put me on a stage, and you guys might see me acting in a few years after I retire here.
I just like to go out there and play. That's my form of entertainment. I know what the people like, and fortunately, it's my style that they like. Just play hard and maybe a little more blue collarish than some of the other guys. That's all.
Sudsy Monchik and Cliff Swain getting ready for battle here at the U.S. Open Championships. Aaron, you and I not foolish enough to predict the outcome of this one, but give us three strengths to look for in these guys.
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to combine them, Tommy, because they play very similar styles, and when you've been #1 for the last 8 years, which between the two of them they have been, there's plenty of strengths to go around. But the first strength that they both have is a great drive serve. Sudsy's comes at you with a little more heat. Cliff is based more on deception, but both have great drive serves. Number 2, tremendous getting ability. Both these guys get a tremendous amount of balls back in play, putting a lot of pressure on their opponent to kill the ball. And the third, which I guess is the mark of any champion, incredibly intense competitors. They hate to lose, and what's more, I think they hate to lose to each other more than anything.
Absolutely. The two best in the world ready to go at it in the U.S. Open. Don't go anywhere.
I'm IRT Pro Mike Guidry. I'm going to tell you about the game. A match consists of 3 out of 5 games to 11 to win by 2.
Pro rules. 1 false serve and you walk.
Short, side out.
A skip ball hits the floor before it hits the front wall. It's a source of a lot of controversy. A hinder is when one player doesn't get out of the other player's way. It's a source of a lot of controversy. Players are going to try to hit straight down the line to get it past their opponents. A pinch is a shot that hits the side wall, then the front wall. You're going to see the players hit a lot of pinch shots.
Also look for cross courts and splats. And don't blink or you'll definitely miss something.
Cliff Swain serving 0, serving 0.
Cliff Swain will serve first. Is either player going to be able to set the tone of this? They played each other too many times to let that happen.
Yeah, they've played each other a lot. Both of these guys who have a lot of confidence in their ability. I don't think we're going to see any real complex game plans. I think we're going to see both players just trying to focus on playing their game because they believe if they play their game, they're going to win. That being said, Sudsy told me that he is really going to be attacking Cliff's backhand with pace because he thinks that's Cliff's weakness.
1-0 Swain.
Good shot.
Cliff with a pretty impressive put away there.
You know, it looked impressive, but I think that ball skipped, and a very tough call for the referee to see because it was, you know, he's in a bad angle, and it was right in front of Cliff's body, but I think that ball skipped if we look at that on the replay.
Point.
Great start for Cliff. Not only because he's up 3-0, which is the obvious, but he's hit 3 very good serves to Sudsy's backhand, which is real important for him to get off serving well. Yesterday, if you remember, he played a great match, but if there was one thing he had trouble doing, he was hitting a lot of false serves.
3-0 Swain, first game. We're playing best of 5 for this championship.
That's a great shot. And you can tell Cliff has come out. He looks very relaxed, very focused, very simple game plan. He didn't mix up his serve a whole lot there, just straight heat at Sudsy's backhand. I think we're going to see the same right now from Sudsy, just driving it right at Cliff's backhand, see if Cliff does something with it.
Good ball point.
Sudsy's been in the final more often than not in all the U.S. Opens. Usually when he comes out at the introductions, he's throwing bandanas into the crowd and balls and things like that, really into it. Very somber today. Does that mean anything at all?
I think Sudsy has really matured as a player. He still has the phenomenal physical ability that he always had, but he has really harnessed in his emotions and his mental game.
Good ball point.
So I think him coming out with a little less fanfare, if you will, it is a sign of his maturity than what we saw 5 years ago, which was just a tremendous raw talent. Now we're seeing the total package.
Monchik to serve now at 2-3.
And both players, they still look a little tight. This is kind of a heavyweight boxing match where they're feeling each other out. They're very pumped up.
Side out.
Great spin there by Cliff. Sudsy missed his drive serve into the sidewall, so it wrapped off the back wall a little bit, and Cliff, using great footwork, turned around on the ball to hit a forehand, which is he's a little more confident with his forehand than his backhand. I tell you, Cliff is picking up right where he was yesterday. He looks so focused. I mean, you really have to admire Cliff. Cliff is 34 years old. He's been on the tour for 15 years, been number 1 or 2 about 12 of those years, and he's still playing like an 18-year-old kid, diving all over the court, playing with tremendous intensity. It's just phenomenal to watch.
4-2.
Side out.
Cliff missed an opportunity there. He had a forehand setup off the back wall, and you can see he's shaking his head. He knows at this level you can't afford to miss too many opportunities. Let's see what Sudsy does here. I think he'll move over to the left side a little bit, give himself a little bit more angle.
Minor Cliffs.
Someone in the crowd said, watch for footfalls. He just wanted him to narrow it down to one player.
And there you see he's moved over to the center a little bit. And there he didn't catch the side wall. Cliff had to flip it to the ceiling. And that was a little better for Sudsy. If you notice, that drive serve hit the floor first and then the side wall. So Cliff had to flip it to the ceiling. The last few drive serves hit the side wall first. So they had come into Cliff. He was able to get a full swing at him. Let's see if he keeps that position, moving off the side wall, giving himself a little less angle, but taking the side wall out of play.
Monchik 3-4.
Nope. And no surprise, these players have come out with very similar service strategy, kind of what I would call the mano-a-mano, just straight drive serves at each other's backhand, seeing what you're made of.
Much heat as you can bring. 4-4 now, Monchik serving.
Great get by Sudsy.
I think already we've seen more from Sudsy than we saw in his entire match with the Mike Locker in the semis.
His intensity level is so much higher than it was yesterday. He's playing with way more energy. And he's really stuck to the game plan he talked to me about before the match, which was driving the ball to Cliff's backhand. He thinks that Cliff flicks the ball a lot, doesn't turn and drive the ball if it's coming at him with pace.
Side out. I'm sorry, point.
Plenty of pace there, and Sudsy Monchik in the lead, 6-4 in the first game of the finals of the Hilton U.S. Welcome back to Hilton U.S. Open Racquetball Championships from Memphis, Tennessee. First game of the finals, Sudsy Monchik ahead 6-4. Monchik serving.
Great shot by Cliff once again. Sudsy serve, caught that side wall. Does two things. One, it takes a little pace off the ball. Second thing it does is it brings it into Cliff's body where he's a little more comfortable getting a full swing at it.
Swain serving 4-6. Sudsy left that one a little high, did he?
Yeah, he left it up. Cliff had a good serve. I would kind of characterize that as a forced error. Cliff had a good hard serve down the line, got a weak return, and then if Cliff has any shot that's just bread and butter, it's that forehand pin splat along the side wall. Very rarely misses that.
He serves now at 5-6. Anyway, he could have got that.
Yeah, that's the right call.
He's phenomenal. He's not
Quite
Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no cape on him. I don't think he could have had that.
Cliff at 6-6.
You know, once again, I think I put the jinx on him.
He did.
Because that one caught the side wall. Same effect that we were talking about with Cliff on the other side. Hits the side wall, loses pace, comes into Sudsy's body. He gets a full swing, rips across court kill.
6-6.
Good serve, flip to the ceiling. Good get, cut it off, missed it.
Oh. Who could not appreciate that?
Yeah, it's great racquetball. You know, one thing that these two players do so well is that they play very close to each other to put as much pressure on possible on the other with their getting ability. Very rarely hit each other. It's really amazing as closely together as they maneuver that there's not more contact. That's a great shot. Once again, Sudsy was a little bit behind the 8-ball after the serve because his serve caught the side wall. Cliff got a full swing at it, was able to jam Sudsy, and then Cliff followed up with a kill shot. Very high-level stuff so far. Very few unforced errors, great intensity. Both players seem to be settling into their game. I think we're going to see this level of intensity for the whole match.
Swings each other.
Point.
Great shot by Cliff there. And that is good fundamental racquetball. Cliff hits a good Z serve, which gets into the side wall. Sudsy gives him a weak return, and Cliff just plays a nice, solid backhand down the line. That's using the whole court.
It's tit for tat here so far in this game, 7-7.
Good splat shot there by Sudsy. And when I say a splat shot, Tommy, what that is when these players hit the ball into the side wall deep. And because of the angle they hit it into the wall, it picks up spin and dies at the front wall. Sudsy's got the best backhand splat in the game. I think Cliff has the best forehand splat in the game, so you'll probably hear me using that terminology a lot.
We now move ahead in this first game. Cliff Swain now serving 8-9.
Good serve. That is just very tough racquetball. Cliff hits a missile down the left wall. Sudsy steps over, rips it back at Cliff. Cliff somehow fights it off his body. Hits not a bad shot down the line. Sudsy steps up, cuts it off, and rips it back down the line.
9-8.
That's great serve. That's the first ace and the first crack he went for. And you know, once again, we were talking a little bit about Sudsy's maturity. He knows it's a crucial point, comes back, hits a crack ace.
10-8, Manchik. The first game goes to Sudsy Manchik in this best of 5 at the U.S. Open. Racquetball championships in Memphis, Tennessee, where Sudsy Manchik now has Cliff Swain facing a 2-0 deficit in this best 3 games out of 5. Manchik's effectiveness using a simple straight-in, straight-out power game has Swain's grasp on the status of number 1 becoming a bit more unsure as the match wears on. Earlier today, they contested the women's finals here at the U.S. Open. Great final. Christy Van Hees, who played in the final, lost to Jackie Perizzo last year up against unseeded Ronda Rasic.
A great match. Youth movement represented by Ronda Rasic and Christy Van Hees. She's been knocking at the door for 2 years. She's got to be excited to get her first U.S. Open crown.
Let's have a look. Newcomer Ronda Rasic pulled a major upset in the women's semifinals by beating number 1 seed Jackie Perizzo, preventing a rematch of the last 2 Hilton U.S. Open women's finals. Going into the finals match, Christy Van Hees had to be concerned, considering Rasic had done something she had not been able to do, beat Jackie Perizzo in this tournament.
As far as Ronda being in the finals, I knew I had a lot more experience going onto the court in front of the crowd than she did. She dives all the time. She's very athletic, but it's hard to go from a high like beating the number 1 ranked player right into the finals again and maintain that high in intensity. So I think I benefited a bit more. There was a bit of a turning point. It wasn't anybody making a great mistake. Like I didn't really make any great mistakes. Ronda just did turn it up, and she rolled a lot of balls in that last game, put a lot of pressure on me. It may have tightened up a bit, but looking back, I'm going to be pretty glad that I bared down and followed through.
So Christy Van Hees finally holds the title that had eluded her the last 2 years as she beats Ronda Rasic 3 games to 1, becoming this year's Hilton U.S. Open Women's Champion. Well, 2-0 for Sudsy, Aaron. Did Cliff find anything he could hang his hat on in that second game? Anything that might give him hope for a third?
Yeah, the fact that he hung in there so well. He was down 10-3, came all the way up to 9. It's got to be discouraging losing the game. But on the other hand, he's got to be thinking, I came way back. I just got to keep that momentum rolling in this game.
All right, back to Todd O'Neill at courtside.
Sudsy, we're 1 game away from your 3rd U.S. Open title. What are you going to do to take this one home?
Just stay focused and not think about that right now. I just got to go out and score 11 points.
Good luck.
Well, Sudsy may have needed only 11 points, but as we pick up the action well into game number 3, Cliff Swain is having no part of it. Got that one. 9-7, Cliff Swain fighting for his life here. He's down 2 games to 0 to Sudsy Manchik in the finals, the Open.
And, you know, Cliff has, he picked up on the fact that the straight drive to the backhand was not effective, and he's really stuck to the forehand side or with a jam serve, and he's gotten a few more opportunities off of those.
Cliff on the verge here.
Yeah,
not done yet, but
once again, Sudsy ripped the ball back at Cliff, but he showed us those soft hands up in the front court. Cliff's front court game he's really been outstanding all week long, and this match has been a continuation of that, where he is just using his hands so well up inside that 5-foot line.
10-7, Cliff Swain serving for the 3rd game.
Hold it, you got
that was a very good serve Cliff hit.
7 serving
Sudsy really just lunged over and somehow got enough pace on it to rip it cross court. First lob serve of the match for Sudsy, followed up by a ceiling ball.
He really caught Cliff a little bit on that.
Yeah,
Didn't
you know, until Sudsy hit that overhand backhand splat, I thought we were in a time warp. It looked like a rally from the 1970s. Sudsy hitting a lob serve, Cliff hitting a ceiling ball, but then Sudsy brought me back to the present by hitting an overhand backhand rollout. Let's see if Sudsy sticks with the lob. No, he's going back, probably straight heat to the backhand here. And that's a big miss. You know, Cliff showing a lot of courage on a pretty good serve, trying to hit a backhand pinch. Tough shot to hit. Yeah, he has been so successful bringing that ball back down the line. I don't know if he went for the pinch there or maybe he was a little bit late on it because of the pace on Sudsy's serve. Wow. That is unbelievable.
That was chest high.
Yeah, it came off at an awkward angle, and he just rolled a chest high pinch, clearly going into the not for you to try at home category.
Way into that. 10-9. Cliff once again for the third game. Cliff's got it. He really worked hard. Took him a long time to win that game, but he is back in it. Cliff Swain. Welcome back to the Hilton U.S. Open Racquetball Championships, where number 1, Cliff Swain, faces an uphill climb as number 2, Sudsy Monchik, is putting the pressure on in the 4th game, up 2-1 in this best 3 out of 5.
What a get.
Oh, man.
Hey, I may take back what I said earlier.
That wasn't terribly sloppy.
Yeah, I may take back what I said earlier, though, about Sudsy not being able to get the ball that he argued the hinder on. If he got to that, I think he may have been able to get to the other one. That was a great rally right there.
Cliff Swain serving at 1-2.
Cliff sticking to that forehand. He missed that one, set Sudsy up. And he's had some success with that serve. I'd really prefer to see him mix up the angles, the jam serve, the Z serve, either to the forehand or the backhand. I think that's where he's been most effective. But it's very tough. Sudsy's return of serve is really outstanding.
2-1 again.
Yeah, Cliff once again, you know, making an error there on the backhand return. You know, there's such a fine margin of error here. You leave that backhand up, and Sudsy's re-kills up in the front court are so good, he just punishes you. Wow, that was an uncharacteristic-looking shot from Cliff. Maybe the ball was pinned a little closer to the side wall than I thought, but it really looked like he just went for a very awkward touch shot.
Swain down 4-1 now. Can't let himself slide much further.
That is an unbelievable shot. I mean, Sudsy hit a good serve. Cliff hit a very tough return. Sudsy on a full headlong dive still had the racket control to push a re-kill and just roll it out.
Point.
6-1 Monchik. He's going timeout.
No, he's got a broken string,
okay,
which is really a break for him that Cliff skipped that because it's tough to do much with the ball with a broken string.
Well, as our players take... Let's move ahead now in this 4th game. Cliff Swain still unable to get anything going. Cliff Swain serving at 3-7. See if he can bring this thing back.
Good get.
Ooh, no. Didn't look truly set on that one. It
Yeah.
should have been.
Yeah, he should have been. That's his 4th forehand pinch that he skipped this game, which is very uncharacteristic. That is Cliff's best shot probably. And that was actually the first forehand pinch he missed. He had hit 4 forehand pinches before that one. Cliff a little bit late getting over to that one. Sudsy put a little more heat on it. Anytime you score a point right out of the timeout, it was a good timeout. That's what you're looking for. You call a timeout when you're serving, think about a serve, come back in and execute it.
Sudsy Monchik now 3 points away from home here. 2 now. 9-3.
Yeah, and Cliff just did not have enough on that to go cross court. You know, he's been guiding the ball down the line very effectively, but he's hit a lot of cross courts even harder than that Sudsy's been all over for. So that one was really pretty easy by Sudsy standards. And the fat lady is warming up her vocal cords just about as mine are about to become worn out. So maybe there's a certain irony to that.
We'll make the transition here shortly, perhaps. Cliff Swain in desperate straits here in the United States Racquetball Open Championships.
Yeah, desperate is kind of the half-full way to describe that one, Tom.
Couldn't be worse.
I'll tell you, that was. He must have had Cliff leaning. Anytime you get these guys to hit the ball through their legs on a jam serve, they must be leaning the wrong way. And for you folks at home, that's exactly what you want to accomplish with a jam serve. You want to jam it right into their body so they can't step away and get a full swing at it. And that certainly had that effect where Cliff had to hit the ball between his legs just to put it back in play. You know, and by contrast, if you remember the jams that Cliff had been hitting, Sudsy had been able to step away and re-kill.
Cliff Swain with the side out, hanging on. And not too much to hang on to, but he's hanging in there.
Yeah, and Sudsy missed an opportunity there. But one thing that is just so outstanding what Sudsy does in center court, his center of balance is by far the best. He is so low to the ground, it allows him to re-kill the ball and allows him to get off to a very quick start on the shot.
3-2, Cliff Swain. Short serve.
And Cliff just never was able to find the serve that he got comfortable with. You know, he scored some points, he hung in there, he kept digging and clawing, but Sudsy really controlled the bulk of this match, primarily because he was able to be effective with a serve while Cliff wasn't. You know, and I misread it, and Sudsy hit a pretty good drive to the backhand. Cliff came back down the line, which is what he's really been effective with. I don't know why he's even attempted the cross court, because Sudsy's backhand re-kill has been very effective.
Easy.
Yeah, that was a rare front court miss for Cliff.
10 serving 3.
Hit a good serve to Sudsy's forehand, but even when you hit a good serve, you don't get a setup. You still got a tough re-kill opportunity.
That's it. 96, 98, and 2000. Now Sudsy Monchik, the U.S. Open champion. '96, '98, 2000. Those are the ones, Sudsy.
I know, but I'm going to work on a repeat next year.
All right, what did it for you this year? I mean, you seem more collected. Let's start with walking out there at the introductions. Years past, you're throwing the bandanas, you're waving to the crowd, you're really into it. This time, you got your eyes pointed at your feet. You're going in with a purpose.
Yeah, I was definitely more focused today, you know, but Cliff being the best as he is, brings that out in me. And I knew from last night when it was going to be me and Cliff today that I was going to have to bring my best game out there. And I wasn't really focused this tournament. I was kind of in and out like a roller coaster. And I knew that wasn't going to do it today unless I was straight as an arrow and go out there and play 120%.
Aaron said it was going to be all about serve and return of serve, and you were right.
One thing that we talked a lot about is your maturity as a player over the years since we've seen you competing at the U.S. Open. And one place where that really seemed to bear out today was on your serve. Your serve strategy seemed to be very effective, and you executed. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, my serve strategy, whenever I play Cliff, you got to mix it up. You can't let him get a beat on anything because, he'll attack it, and he's an animal out there. And I had to keep mixing it up, and my coach Ruben was helping me out a lot. And I played very well, and I was happy with my service game. I know I had a lot less faults today than I did yesterday, and that's part of being so focused.
You're always the first one to say it. Cliff's the best to ever play the game, but now we hear you say at this time. When is that going to change?
Like I said, I speak from the heart. Cliff Swain is the greatest of all time right now. Maybe it's a matter of numbers or whatever it is. He's the best player I've ever played against. I'd be afraid to play myself, though, that's for sure. But, he has 5 #1 rankings under his belt. That's incredible in anything, in any sport. To be the best in the world 5 times is incredible. I'm, now on my 4th time. This doesn't lock it up for the season. I'm still going to have to go out there focused and finish #1, and that'll be my 5th. And I feel that, if I get my 6th, then I could comfortably say that I am the greatest player to ever play the game.
There have been 5 U.S. Opens. You've won 3 of them. This is your tournament.
I like the lights. You guys know it. I mean, you guys all know it. I like being in the spotlight. I like the lights, the fans, the crowd. It's amazing. The energy is just intense. There's really no way to describe it. Unless you've been lucky enough to compete as an athlete at this level.
We'll bring more lights next year, and we'll see you then. Congratulations, Sudsy Munchik.
Good job.
U.S. Open Racquetball champion.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.